They laughed when they left. They're not laughing now. Right now, somewhere you cannot see, the person who betrayed you is staring at a memory they thought they buried. An old photo, a saved message, a version of you they were convinced they could replace. And for the first time, the weight of what they did is hitting them all at once. Not as anger, not as excuses, as regret. Heavy, quiet, and uncontrollable. Betrayal works like throwing away a winning ticket before the numbers are called. At first, it feels like relief. Less responsibility, less pressure, more freedom. But when the results start coming in, reality shows no mercy. They are now watching you become exactly what they dismissed, and the timing could not be worse for them. Here's a fact most people don't talk about. Regret doesn't arrive when someone leaves. It arrives when they realize the door they closed no longer opens from their side. Another fact, people don't cry because they lost you. They cry because they finally understand who you were to them. And a third truth that hits even harder. Betrayal often feels powerful at first, until the universe balances the scales and removes the blindfold. If this message found you, it's not random scrolling or coincidence. It's resonance. Something in your story lined up with this moment. And before we go any further, thank you, chosen one, for being here. If this message already feels familiar, pay it back by pressing like and subscribe. That small action helps push this message toward others who are still confused, still hurting, still doubting themselves. You're not just listening. You're part of a force that spreads clarity instead of chaos. Thank you for standing in that role. Now let's get back to what matters. This message is not for everyone. If you've never been betrayed by someone you trusted, this won't land. If you've never felt replaced, dismissed, or blamed for someone else's weakness, you can leave now. But if someone you loved turned cold, walked away, or rewrote history to make themselves feel better, every word from here will hit close. The person who betrayed you didn't do it because you lacked value. They did it because they couldn't handle the weight of what you represented. Your consistency exposed their instability. Your depth made their surface level thinking uncomfortable. You weren't too much, you were too real. At the time, it looked like rejection, silence, distance, disappearance. But what you didn't see was the universe stepping in quietly, removing someone who would have drained you long term. Protection rarely feels gentle in the moment. It feels like loss. It feels unfair. It feels like being punished for loving sincerely. But here's where the shift begins. While you were healing, they were distracting themselves. While you were rebuilding, they were avoiding. While you were learning who you are without approval, they were repeating the same patterns with different faces. And now, the contrast is undeniable. The universe has a strange way of replaying lessons when people refuse to learn them the first time. The betrayal they once justified now echoes back as loneliness. The confidence they had in leaving you has turned into questions they can't silence. They are realizing that what they called freedom was actually escape, and what they escaped from was accountability. This is why they're emotional now. Not because they suddenly became kind, not because they've changed overnight, but because clarity finally arrived, and it arrived late. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need to explain yourself. You didn't need closure from them. The truth did the work for you, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. Look at your life now. Even if everything isn't perfect yet, you're stronger, more aware, less willing to beg for crumbs. You learn to sit with discomfort instead of chasing validation. That growth is what they feel when they look back at you. That's the part that hurts them most, because deep down they know this. If they had treated you right, they would be standing beside you now. If they had been honest, they wouldn't be haunted by what-ifs. if they had valued you, they wouldn't be watching from a distance, wondering how they lost someone they never truly understood. Chosen one, the tears you never saw back then are happening now. The apologies you never received are being spoken in empty rooms. The realization they avoided is fully formed, and there's no undo button. You were not broken by betrayal, you were revealed by it. And the universe made sure they'd see the truth, even if it took losing you to finally understand it. And chosen one, before we go any further, take a second to really arrive here. You didn't end up in this message by accident. Something in you recognized the truth behind the title before your mind could even explain it. If this is already hitting close, pause for a moment and show support by liking this message and subscribing. That small action helps push this truth toward others who are still blaming themselves for a betrayal that was never their fault. You're not just listening, you're helping the universe rebalance things. If you feel comfortable, drop a simple comment below with the number 777, not as a ritual, not as magic, but as a signal to yourself that you're ready to face what really happened without sugarcoating it. This isn't about chasing the person who hurt you. It's about understanding why they're the ones breaking down now and why you're standing stronger than you think. And if you choose to support the team behind this message through Super Thanks, know this: every bit of support helps keep these messages alive and reaching people who need clarity more than comfort. The amount doesn't matter, the intention does. This work exists because people like you decide truth is worth backing. Now take a breath. Stay with this. If you're truly a chosen one, you'll feel the pull to keep listening, because what comes next explains exactly why the person who betrayed you can't escape the truth anymore. Let's go step by step. Number 1, they didn't reject you. They identified the threat and panicked. They didn't call you the problem because you were wrong. They called you the problem because you couldn't be controlled. Let's get this straight from the start. You were never the black sheep. That label was slapped on you because it was easier than admitting the truth. You didn't fit into their dysfunction, and instead of fixing themselves, they tried to shrink you. When a system is broken, the one person who refuses to play along always gets blamed. Not because they're weak, but because they're dangerous to the lie. You've felt it for a long time, that heavy, quiet pressure in your chest that shows up at night when everything finally goes silent. The feeling of being surrounded by people, yet still completely alone. The sense that no matter how much you gave, it was never enough to earn real safety or loyalty. You weren't imagining that. You were standing in a room where you were the only honest one, and honesty makes fragile people nervous. They called you too sensitive, too intense, too much. What they really meant was this: you noticed things they hoped would stay hidden. You asked questions they didn't want to answer. You felt deeply in a world that survives by staying numb. Your presence disrupted their comfort without you ever raising your voice. That's why the tension followed you everywhere. That's why peace only showed up when you weren't around. Here's the part most people miss. You didn't expose them by attacking. You exposed them by existing. Like a cracked mirror, you reflected parts of themselves they couldn't stand to look at. And instead of changing, they chose betrayal. It's a predictable move. When people feel seen in ways they didn't consent to, they don't thank you. They try to erase you. That betrayal didn't come from strangers. It came from people you tried to protect, support, or save. That's what cuts the deepest. You weren't careless with your trust. You were generous, and generosity in the wrong environment always gets punished first. They mistook your patience for weakness. They confused your silence with ignorance. They assumed that because you didn't react loudly, you didn't understand what was happening. That was their biggest mistake. You saw everything. You just chose not to turn into them. When they left, or when they pushed you out, it didn't feel like a clean ending. It felt like being ripped out of your own life. You replayed conversations. You questioned your worth. You wondered if loving people honestly was even safe anymore. You told yourself maybe you were the problem because that explanation hurt less than accepting that people you cared about chose comfort over truth. But listen closely. Pain is not always evidence of failure. Sometimes it's evidence of separation from something that would have destroyed you slowly. The universe didn't remove you because you were broken. It removed you because you didn't belong in a place that needed you to stay small to function. You weren't cast out, you were extracted. This is where the story flips, and this is where the enemy starts to feel it. The same traits they mocked are now the traits they can't escape thinking about. Your depth, your loyalty, your awareness, the way you didn't need to be cruel to be strong. Now that you're gone, the silence you kept is loud in their mind. They're replaying moments they brushed off, realizing too late that you were the stabilizer, the truth teller, the one who carried more than your share without asking for credit. That's why they're unraveling now, not because you cursed them, not because you chased justice, but because the universe has a way of making people sit with the consequences they tried to avoid. You might be wondering this right now: if I was never the problem, why did it hurt so much? Because being the most real person in a fake environment always costs something. You pay up front, so you don't pay forever. Another question that creeps in: why do they get to realize it now when I've already suffered? Because clarity usually arrives after loss. Understanding tends to show up late, messy, and inconvenient. That's not your burden to carry anymore. You're also probably asking this: if I was so valuable, why didn't they fight to keep me? Because people who operate from fear don't fight for what challenges them. They fight for what's easy. And you were never easy to misuse. You weren't the black sheep of the family, the group, or the relationship. You were the pressure test. You were the standard they couldn't maintain. And when you left, the cracks they blamed on you became impossible to ignore. Now here's the part meant for you, not them. Stop trying to rewrite yourself into something more acceptable. Stop wondering what version of you would have been treated better. The answer is none. Any version of you that stayed true would have eventually triggered the same reaction. Because the issue was never your personality. It was your presence. The universe didn't punish you by isolating you. It prepared you. Solitude didn't break you. It sharpened you. You learned how to stand without applause, how to trust your own perception, how to stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. And now the balance has shifted. They're crying because the story they told themselves collapsed, because the person they minimized didn't disappear. You evolved, quietly, without permission, without validation. That's the kind of growth that terrifies people who live off borrowed confidence. So no, you were never the black sheep. You were the one who refused to play dumb to keep the peace. You were the one who felt too deeply in a shallow room. You were the one the universe protected by removing from a space that could never hold you. And now, while they sit with regret and unanswered questions, you're standing at the beginning of something cleaner, stronger, and finally aligned with who you actually are. They lost you. And this time, the truth is loud enough that even they can't ignore it. Number 2, they didn't walk away. The universe forced a detour they couldn't follow. What you called rejection was the universe slamming a door before they could burn the whole house down. This is where most people misunderstand what really happened to you. They think you were abandoned, left behind, forgotten. They think you lost something valuable when those people walked away or turned against you. But that story only makes sense if you believe the universe is careless. It's not. It's precise. And what happened to you was not rejection. It was redirection done the hard way because the soft way would not have worked. Imagine this: you're on a road at night, trusting the driver because you assume they know where they're going. Suddenly, the car swerves, slams to a stop, and throws you forward. Painful, confusing, you're angry. But seconds later, you realize the bridge ahead is gone. That violent stop didn't harm you. It saved you. That's what the betrayal was. A brutal interruption before something irreversible happened. The universe saw what you couldn't see yet: the quiet resentment, the hidden jealousy, the knives disguised as smiles, the conversations that shifted the moment you weren't in the room. You weren't paranoid, you were early, and instead of letting you build a future on unstable ground, the universe pulled you out completely. Here's a truth that hits hard. Not everyone who claps for you wants you to win. Some people just want front row seats to watch how far you fall. And you were surrounded by people who benefited from your loyalty but resented your potential. That combination never ends well. You might be asking yourself right now, why did it have to hurt this much? Because you wouldn't have left voluntarily. You would have stayed loyal too long. You would have kept explaining yourself. You would have kept sacrificing pieces of your future just to keep the peace. So the universe chose impact over comfort. Another question that sneaks in late at night: why did I have to be isolated afterward? Because clarity doesn't survive noise. When everyone has access to you, no one hears you clearly, including yourself. Isolation wasn't punishment. It was promotion to a higher level of awareness. Imagine trying to sharpen a blade in the middle of a crowded street. Impossible. Too many hands, too many opinions, too much interference. So the universe cleared the room. Not because you're unwanted, but because what you're becoming requires focus, not applause. This season feels quiet for a reason. You're no longer being distracted by people who drain you emotionally while calling it connection. You're no longer negotiating your worth. You're learning who you are without interference. And that process is uncomfortable because it strips away false identities you wore just to survive. Here's another image to sit with. When a building is unsafe, you don't decorate it, you evacuate it. What felt like abandonment was evacuation. The structure around you was compromised, and staying would have cost you far more than leaving ever did. You might also wonder this: if the universe was protecting me, why do I still feel lonely sometimes? Because growth happens in quiet spaces before it shows up in visible wins. Loneliness doesn't mean you're missing something, it means you're between versions of yourself. The people who betrayed you didn't get removed to punish them. They got removed because they couldn't come where you're going. Their presence would have delayed you. Their influence would have diluted you. Their mindset would have limited you. The universe doesn't negotiate with that. Here's a hard quote to sit with. Not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Some exits are upgrades. Another one. The universe doesn't explain itself. It just removes obstacles. And one more that cuts clean. If they couldn't walk with you honestly, they were never meant to run with you long term. This phase is forging something real in you. You're learning to trust your instincts instead of second-guessing them. You're learning that peace is not boring, it's expensive. You're learning that access to you is earned, not automatic. Imagine a sculptor chiseling stone. Every strike looks destructive to someone who doesn't understand the process. Chips fly, pieces fall away. But the sculptor isn't destroying the stone. They're revealing the form inside it. That's what this season is doing to you. Stripping away what never fit so what does can finally breathe. You're not broken. Broken things scatter. You're concentrated, focused, sharpened, built under pressure instead of comfort. That's why this feels intense. Pressure doesn't feel like love, but it creates strength. Love alone never could. Another question you might be asking, why does it feel like they're struggling now while I'm still healing? Because the universe works on different timelines. You faced the pain early, they avoided it. Now the bill has arrived and it's due all at once. Their regret is loud because it's delayed. Your healing is quiet because it's honest. They're crying because they lost control of the narrative. You're steady because you stopped needing their approval. That's the real shift. Imagine holding onto a rope that's slowly burning your hands. Letting go hurts for a moment. Holding on destroys you completely. The universe didn't push you off. It made sure you released before permanent damage set in. This isolation isn't empty, it's strategic. It's giving you space to rebuild your identity without distortion, to choose values instead of habits, to align with people who don't require you to dim yourself to belong. And here's the final truth that ties it all together. What you lost was not your future. It was the wrong audience. You weren't rejected. You were rerouted. You weren't abandoned. You were protected from staying somewhere that would have cost you everything you're about to become. The universe didn't break you apart. It stepped in, cleared the path, and said, "Not this way anymore." And while they sit with the weight of what they lost, you're being built for something that never required their permission in the first place. Number 3. The moment you stop doubting, everything starts moving. Nothing changes when you understand the truth. Everything changes when you stop arguing with it. This part matters more than most people realize. This message is not here to give you more information. You already have enough information. You've watched the patterns. You felt the betrayal coming before it happened. You sensed the shift before anyone admitted it. What stalled things wasn't ignorance, it was hesitation, and hesitation is where power leaks out quietly. Agreement is not belief. Agreement is decision. It's the moment you stop mentally negotiating with what already happened and stop asking, was it really that bad? Or maybe I overreacted. Those questions don't come from wisdom. They come from conditioning, from being taught to doubt yourself so others don't have to face their behavior. Here's a hard truth. The universe doesn't respond to confusion. It responds to clarity. The second you agree with what you already know deep down, momentum kicks in, not because something magical happens, but because resistance drops. And resistance is what slows everything. Imagine driving with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. The engine screams, the car shakes, but you don't move forward smoothly. That's what inner conflict looks like. You want peace, but you keep revisiting the betrayal. You want growth, but you keep reopening the wound to see if it still hurts. Agreement is lifting your foot off the brake. Another image. Think of a door that only opens outward. You can pull on it all day and swear it's locked. The moment you change direction and push, it opens easily. Agreement works the same way. The path wasn't blocked, your approach was. You might be thinking, if I agree with what happened, does that mean I approve of it? No. Agreement is not forgiveness. It's acknowledgement. It's saying, this happened, it mattered, and it changed me. Denial keeps you tied to the people who hurt you. Agreement cuts the cord. Here's a quote to sit with. Clarity doesn't need time, it needs courage. Another one. When you stop fighting the truth, it starts fighting for you. And this one hits the enemy directly. They lose power the moment you stop doubting your own experience. The second you stop resisting the reality of who betrayed you, why it happened, and what it revealed, the process speeds up. Your energy shifts, your decisions sharpen, your tolerance for nonsense drops. That's not anger, that's alignment. You don't need to chase justice. You don't need to explain yourself. The universe moves fastest when you stop standing in your own way. Agreement isn't loud. It's quiet. It sounds like, "I see it now." And once you say that, nothing stays stuck for long. Number 4. The price tag. They couldn't afford, but you already paid. Some people call it bad luck. The truth is, they couldn't survive the cost you quietly covered. Being chosen is not glamorous. It's not applause, attention, or instant wins. It's expensive in ways no one brags about. It costs tears you never posted, silence you didn't explain, long nights where you questioned yourself while everyone else slept peacefully, convinced they made the right choices. Separation feels like punishment only until you realize what staying would have destroyed. You didn't lose people by accident. You outgrew environments that required you to lie to yourself to belong. Others stayed comfortable. You chose honesty, even when it meant standing alone. That choice didn't make life easier. It made it real. Here's a truth most people avoid. Comfort is cheap. Growth charges interest. You paid up front, while others delayed the bill. That's why they're scrambling now, and you're steadier than you think. Imagine two people standing at the edge of a storm. One runs inside to avoid the rain. The other walks straight through it, soaked, cold, and exhausted. Later, only one knows how to survive when shelter disappears. You learned resilience by necessity, not by choice. You might wonder, why did it have to cost me so much? Because depth isn't handed out. It's earned through experience. Every time you chose integrity over approval, you added weight to your character. Every time you walked away, instead of betraying yourself, you trained your spine. Another image. Think of a bridge built to hold real weight. Weak materials crack under pressure. Strong ones are tested again and again until failure is impossible. You weren't breaking, you were being reinforced. Here's a quote that cuts clean. What hurt you didn't disqualify you. It proved you could handle more. Another one. They avoided the cost. You paid it. Now they're stuck at the entrance while you're already inside. And this one lands hard on the enemy. People who mock the price are usually afraid of what it buys. You stayed honest when it cost you relationships. You chose clarity when it meant being misunderstood. You let go even when holding on would have been easier in the short term. That pain wasn't wasted. It trained your instincts. It sharpened your judgment. It taught you how to walk away without burning yourself alive. Being chosen isn't about being special. It's about being willing to lose what's familiar to protect what's real, willing to endure isolation instead of living a lie, willing to pay a price others refuse to even look at. That cost didn't break you. It qualified you. Number 5. Every one of you walks the same road, and that's how you know it's real. They all thought they were alone. That's how the pattern stays hidden. There is a pattern to people like you, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Chosen ones don't get smooth beginnings. They get disruption first, loss first, isolation first. Not because they're unlucky, but because the path requires stripping away anything that would slow them down later. Look closely at your own life, and you'll recognize it. Before anything meaningful could take shape, the familiar had to disappear. Comfort was removed. Old support systems collapsed. The environment you knew no longer fit, and staying would have meant shrinking. That wasn't cruelty. That was positioning. Imagine a seed planted in shallow soil. It grows fast, looks good early, but collapses under real weight. Now, imagine a seed buried deep in darkness. It takes longer. It looks dead from the outside. But when it breaks the surface, it holds. You were planted deep on purpose. Betrayal always shows up early in this pattern, not because you deserved it, but because exposure comes before elevation. The people closest to you revealed who they were when pressure arrived. That moment wasn't random. It taught you discernment. It forced you to rely on yourself instead of borrowed loyalty. You might ask, why did I have to stand alone for so long? Because clarity doesn't arrive in crowds. Noise blurs instinct. Solitude sharpens it. You learn to hear yourself without constant feedback. That's rare. That's valuable. Here's a hard quote to sit with. If the path feels lonely, it's because it's not built for the average. Another one. The ones meant to lead are always isolated before they're trusted. And this one hits the enemy quietly. They mistook your silence for defeat. It was training. Think about the moments that scared you the most. The pit you thought would end you. The cave where answers didn't come. The heat that felt unbearable. None of it destroyed you. It revealed what you could survive. Each stage removed weakness, illusion, and dependency. You weren't delayed. You were being aligned. The people who mocked your isolation wouldn't last 5 minutes in it. They need noise, validation, and constant reassurance. You learned to stand without it. That's why the universe trusts you with more. Every step you thought was a setback was actually calibration. You weren't wandering. You were being positioned for a role that requires depth, restraint, and self-command. The pattern is simple. Loss before clarity. Isolation before strength. Pressure before purpose. If your life feels like it followed this road, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. Number 6. The payback is never subtle. It arrives where they can see it. The universe never takes something from you without planning a louder return. Here's where things finally flip, and this is the part the people who betrayed you never calculated. Sacrifice does not disappear into nothing. It converts. It compounds. Every loss you endured while staying true didn't erase value. It stored it, quietly, patiently, with interest. You didn't lose time. You didn't lose love. You didn't lose opportunities. You lost what couldn't travel with you to the next level. The universe is ruthless about this one rule. If something is removed, it's because it would have limited what's coming next. You might be wondering, if that's true, why does it feel like I'm still waiting? Because compensation doesn't arrive halfway. It arrives complete. When it shows up, it makes the loss look small by comparison. Imagine trading a broken watch for a calendar that controls time. At first, all you notice is the empty wrist. Later, you realize you gained something far more powerful. That's how this works. The reward always makes sense in hindsight, never in the moment. Another image. Think of a stage being cleared before a spotlight turns on. The silence before applause feels awkward, almost embarrassing. But once the lights hit, no one remembers the quiet. They only remember who's standing there. Here's a quote that hits hard. What you sacrificed in private will be returned in ways you can't hide. Another one. Delay isn't denial, it's preparation for impact. And this one lands directly on the doubters. They'll recognize your value at the same time they realize they can't access it anymore. Your reward isn't designed to be subtle. It's designed to correct the narrative. The same people who questioned your decisions will witness the results of your discipline, not because you need validation, but because truth has a way of making itself visible. You're not being elevated to impress anyone. You're being elevated to close chapters, to end doubts, to show that staying aligned, even when it costs you, produces results that shortcuts never touch. Restoration doesn't whisper, it announces itself through contrast, through peace where chaos used to live, through stability where uncertainty ruled, through growth that speaks without explanation. And when it arrives, it won't just reward you. It will expose exactly who misjudged you and why letting go was the smartest move you ever made. Number 7, you're not just healing yourself, you're ending a pattern for good. They didn't just try to break you, they aimed at what would come after you, and they failed. This was never only about your pain. If it were, it would have ended once you survived the worst of it. But it didn't, because what you're carrying goes deeper than a single betrayal, a single relationship, or a single chapter of your life. You stepped into something bigger the moment you chose awareness over denial. You are the point where the pattern stops. Look back honestly. The chaos you grew up around, the emotional habits passed down like heirlooms no one wanted, but everyone carried. The silence, the avoidance, the loyalty to pain, disguised as love. That didn't start with you, but it ends with you. Not because you're perfect, but because you were brave enough to face what others kept running from. Imagine a crack running through a foundation for generations. Everyone learns to live with it. You're the one who says, this ends here, even if it means tearing the floor up and rebuilding from scratch. That's not comfortable. That's courageous. You endured things so others wouldn't have to normalize them. You learned boundaries so the next ones don't confuse control with care. You chose self-respect so future relationships don't have to be built on survival mode. That's legacy. Quiet, uncelebrated, but permanent. Here's a hard quote to sit with. Some people survive for themselves. Others survive to end a cycle. Another one. The pain stops with the person brave enough to name it. And one more that hits the enemy where it hurts. They aimed at your future, not realizing you were the firewall. You might wonder, why did it have to be me? Because you noticed, because you questioned, because you refused to keep pretending things were fine when they weren't. The universe doesn't assign this role randomly. It falls to the one who can hold the weight without becoming bitter. Your survival isn't luck, it's proof of capacity. You didn't just make it through, you came out aware, grounded, and unwilling to repeat the same damage in a different form. That's how you know they missed. They tried to derail your future by destabilizing you early. Instead, they forced you to build strength, clarity, and standards that can't be shaken. The ripple of that decision reaches further than you realize. You're not just creating a better life, you're creating a clean starting point for everything that comes next. Number 8. This is the switch flip moment. Nothing stays dormant after this. This isn't motivation, it's ignition. What's happening right now is not symbolic, and it's not emotional hype. This is a real internal shift. The kind you feel before your life visibly changes. You didn't just hear words. Something clicked, something settled, something stopped fighting the truth and finally aligned with it. That's why your body feels different when you listen closely. That's why your mind feels quieter but sharper at the same time. This wasn't encouragement. Encouragement makes you feel good and fades. This was activation. Activation changes how you move, what you tolerate, and what you no longer chase. It's the moment your nervous system realizes the danger has passed and the rebuild can begin. Think of a circuit that's been wired for years but never turned on. All the parts were there, but nothing flowed. The second the switch flips, energy moves instantly. No debate, no delay. That's what just happened internally. You stopped asking for permission to heal. You stopped waiting for closure from the people who caused the damage. Here's a hard truth. Healing doesn't start when the pain disappears. It starts when you stop identifying with the wound, and that line just got crossed. Another image. Imagine a dam finally opening after holding pressure for years. The water doesn't trickle out politely. It moves with force. Release works the same way. Once it starts, it accelerates. You may be thinking, why now? Because you're finally ready to receive without sabotaging it. Earlier in your journey, growth would have overwhelmed you. You were still questioning your worth, still negotiating with the past. Now you're steady enough to hold what's coming. Here's a quote to lock in. Nothing returns until the mind stops arguing with the truth. Another one. Acceleration begins the moment resistance ends. And this one lands hard. What was taken from you wasn't lost. It was delayed until you were strong enough to keep it. What was drained is being replenished. What was stalled is moving again, not slowly, decisively. You'll notice it in unexpected clarity, sudden opportunities, and a confidence that doesn't need approval. That's not coincidence. That's alignment finally doing its job. This is the phase where results stop hiding, where progress becomes visible, where the people who doubted you start noticing shifts they can't explain. The harvest isn't wishful thinking. It's authorized the moment you stopped shrinking to survive and started standing to receive. Number 9. Right after the shift, expect pushback. That's how you know it worked. The moment you move forward, whatever benefited from you staying stuck will try to grab your ankle. Here's something most people are never warned about. Right after a breakthrough, things don't always get calm. Sometimes they get noisy. Messages resurface. Old emotions flare up. Distractions suddenly feel urgent. Chaos knocks like it has business with you. That doesn't mean you messed up. It means you crossed a line that wasn't supposed to be crossed quietly. This is not loss. This is confirmation. Think about it logically. If nothing changed, nothing would react. Resistance only appears when momentum is real. Doors don't slam unless something moved through them. The universe doesn't test what isn't progressing. Imagine finally deleting an old number and the next day they reach out from a new one, or you make a clear internal decision and suddenly doubt tries to replay old scenes like a broken movie. That's not coincidence. That's the past checking if it still has access. Here's a quote to lock in. Disruption after clarity is proof you're no longer confused. Another one. If it tries to rush you, scare you, or distract you, it's not aligned. And this one hits hard. Anything that needs your panic to survive doesn't deserve your attention. This phase isn't about endurance anymore. You already proved you can survive. This is about discernment, about not reacting emotionally just because something is loud, about not retreating mentally just because something feels familiar. You might be asking, why does it feel tempting to go backward right now? Because the old patterns recognize they're being phased out. They'll offer comfort, nostalgia, even false urgency. Don't confuse familiarity with safety. Imagine a smoke alarm going off after the fire is already out. It's annoying, loud, and convincing, but it doesn't mean the house is burning again. Your job isn't to panic. It's to assess calmly. Stand firm without force. Stillness here is strength. Silence here is strategy. You don't need to explain yourself, defend your growth, or respond to every emotional pull. What comes next isn't meant to break you. It's meant to reveal whether you trust your clarity or still need chaos to feel normal. Stay steady. The counterattack isn't a threat. It's proof you're ahead. Number 10. Not everything that returns is meant to stay. This is where most people fail. Just because it looks familiar doesn't mean it's safe anymore. This stage is dangerous, and not in an obvious way. Nothing is crashing, nothing is exploding. Instead, things start to look tempting. Opportunities appear that feel almost right. People resurface with softer voices and better timing. Situations come back dressed in improvement. And this is where discernment matters more than strength ever did. Here's the truth. Not every open door is an upgrade. Some doors reopen just to check if you're still naive enough to walk through them. Old connections may reach out like nothing happened. Old patterns may present themselves as growth. Old environments may promise change without proof. This is not coincidence. This is testing. The universe isn't punishing you. It's verifying whether you actually learned the lesson or just survived the pain. Imagine finally healing a broken bone, only to test it by lifting the same weight that broke it in the first place. If it snaps again, the issue wasn't healing, it was timing. Some things require distance, not courage. You might be asking, how do I know the difference between restoration and a counterfeit? Simple. Real alignment doesn't rush you. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't make you doubt your peace. Counterfeits always come with urgency, guilt, or nostalgia attached. Here's a quote that cuts clean. If it needs you to forget the past to accept it, it's not new. Another one. What's meant for you won't need convincing. And this one hits hard. Timing exposes truth faster than intention ever will. Pay attention to how your body responds. Real opportunities feel grounded. Fake ones feel loud. Restoration brings clarity. Counterfeits bring confusion dressed as excitement. Old doors knocking doesn't mean you should answer. Sometimes it's just confirmation that you outgrew the room. Sometimes it's the past, checking if you still miss the chaos more than the calm. Discernment now protects your future later. Saying no today saves you years tomorrow. You don't need to explain your standards. You don't need to prove your growth. Walking away quietly is often the final test. This phase isn't about what you can handle. It's about what you refuse to tolerate anymore. Number 11. When things start breaking in your favor, don't question it. When ease replaces effort, something real has shifted. You'll know the harvest has begun, not because fireworks go off, but because resistance stops arguing with you. Things that used to take force suddenly take flow. Doors you pushed on for years open without pressure. People respond differently to you, not because you changed your mask, but because you stopped leaking doubt. Favor doesn't arrive loudly. It shows up as timing that finally works, as help that appears without begging, as outcomes that don't drain you the way they used to. This isn't luck. It's alignment doing its job after a long delay. Barriers collapsing feels strange at first. You almost don't trust it. Problems that once felt immovable suddenly lose weight. Conversations resolve faster. Situations untangle without drama. You might catch yourself waiting for the catch. That's normal. When you've lived in resistance, peace feels suspicious. Here's a quote to anchor this moment. When things stop fighting you, it's because you stopped fighting the truth. Another one? Ease is not laziness, it's accuracy. And this one hits deep. What flows now was blocked when you were misaligned. Imagine walking upstream for miles, muscles burning, breath short. Then suddenly, the current turns and carries you forward. Same river, different direction. That's what this phase feels like. The effort didn't disappear. It just stopped being wasted. Joy returns in small, unexpected ways. You laugh without forcing it. You wake up lighter. Music hits differently. These aren't emotional highs. They're nervous system signals that you're no longer bracing for impact. Safety has returned internally, and that changes everything. You might wonder why now? Because you finally let go of what was draining you. because you stopped arguing with reality, because you chose alignment over attachment. This isn't a temporary upswing, it's a recalibration. When alignment locks in, life doesn't feel perfect, it feels possible. Number 12. This isn't just a gift, it's a weight you're now trusted to carry. What's coming to you isn't meant to sit still, it's meant to move through you. The road ahead isn't about comfort, it's about responsibility. What you're stepping into now has momentum, and momentum demands direction. You're not here to collect validation, store wins, or hoard progress like trophies. You're here to move things forward, to let what flows into you flow outward with purpose. You're not a container, you're a current. That's why stagnation will start to feel unbearable. Staying quiet when you should speak will feel wrong. Standing still when the path opens will feel heavy. That's not pressure, that's authority waking up. When alignment locks in, passivity stops being an option. Imagine a river trying to freeze itself because it's afraid of where it leads. It doesn't work. Water that stops moving turns stale. You're built to move, to speak, to step forward even when the full map isn't visible yet. Here's a truth to ground you. Clarity doesn't come before movement. It comes because of it. Another one. Authority isn't loud, it's certain, and this one lands hard. The path opens for those already walking. You may be asking, what if I make the wrong move? That fear belongs to an older version of you. You've already survived missteps, detours, and losses. This phase isn't about perfection. It's about momentum guided by awareness. You're not abandoned. Support shows up differently now. Less hand-holding, more alignment, less reassurance, more results. You're not late. Timing didn't betray you. It shaped you. You arrived exactly when you could carry what's next without dropping it. And you're not mistaken. The doubt that used to cloud your decisions doesn't have the same grip anymore. You see clearer. You pause less. You trust yourself more. Imagine standing at the edge of a foggy bridge. You don't see the whole thing, but each step reveals the next plank. That's how this season works. Movement first, visibility second. This isn't a waiting season, it's a walking one. Before you go, pause for a second and really feel where you are now. You didn't imagine this shift. You didn't misread the signs. What you heard today was meant to meet you exactly where you stand. And if it landed, that's your confirmation. If this message helped you see things clearer, press the like button if you haven't already. It helps this reach others who are still doubting themselves. And if you're not part of this family yet, press subscribe. Stay close. This journey doesn't end here. It's just getting real.